Hello everyone, thanks for watching this video, and today I would like to show you one of the amazing feature of Azure Active Directory. By the way, Microsoft is change the name of Azure Active Directory, and very soon it's not going to call it Azure Active Directory and it's going to be Microsoft Entra ID. But until it's the transition is complete, you can still call it Azure Active Directory. So the feature that I was talking about is a passwordless authentication. So Azure Active Directory support multi-factor authentication, but also it support passwordless authentications. So passwordless authentications can be supported with various options. So options is like you can use Windows Hello for Business, you can use Microsoft Authenticator app, you can use a secure token, right? So all these features is supported, right? So the focus for my video is Microsoft Authenticator app, and that can help us to become a passwordless authentication method. So let's go back to our Azure Active Directory. So you just log into portal.azure.com and search for Azure Active Directory. In Azure Active Directory, just go to security option. Once you click on the security option, you just drop down and there is an option called authentication method. If you click on this authentication method and select the policies, then you'll able to see multiple authentication methods that we can opt for: certificate based, email based, voice based, third party software, token based, SMS based, Microsoft authentication based, and FIDO2 security key based. Currently I'm targeting only for Microsoft Authenticator. Let's click on this Microsoft Authenticator. By default, this Microsoft Authenticator is disabled. So this is authentication method. It's not the MFA we are talking about, right? So this is the advanced feature of the multi-factor authentications that can help us to enable a passwordless authentication top of a normal multi-factor authentication. So if you can see it, Microsoft Authenticator app is a flagship authentication method, and you can use it for passwordless authentications, right? So for your Android and iOS based devices, right? So currently if you go here, it's not enabled. You click here. Once you click here, then it will show you the options to whom you want to include. You can choose a selected group, or you can choose all the users, right? And then once you select all the users, because there is no option for selecting the users, either you can select a group and then you can click here and it will list out all your groups, and then you can choose which group you want to go with. I don't want to choose a group. Let me do it for all the users as of now, and then we'll go with the passwordless authentication. You save this setting. As I already told you, this feature is based on Microsoft Authentication method. That means without enabling Microsoft Authentications or MFA, right, you cannot use it. So let's go back to your Active Directory and go back to the user, and let's enable multi-factor authentication for some of the users. For that, you just go to your Active Directory and you can click on this option, per user MFA. Once you click on this option, then you can search for the user to whom you want to enable. I have created some test account here, so let me select this user, user1, and you can see that the MFA is disabled. You simply click on enable it. Then it will give you a pop-up. You click on it and now it's done. Now you can see MFA is enabled. So once you have MFA enabled, now you just go back, right, and try to log in with this user. So let me open a new private window and try to log in with myapps.microsoft.com, right? And then I have to search for my user. So let me copy the user information. Let me supply it here. Click next. Let me type the password for this user. Okay, let me try one more time. Okay, okay, let me try this one. Yeah, okay. So now it will ask me for more information. That means this is popping up for my MFA registration. Let me click here, next. When you're registering your devices for multi-factor authentication, you have multiple options to opt for. But we are trying to use Microsoft Authentication app to enable it for that user, so I can use passwordless authentication. Otherwise, you have SMS based authentications where you can register your mobile phone. Then you can see that if you want to opt for another authentication methods, then you can go here. But if you want to use Microsoft Authentication, then you have to go from here, click on next. Now it will ask you to add your account to your Microsoft Authenticator app, which is installed in your phone. Click next. So if you go to your phone, and it will ask you to add a Microsoft account. So once you open your app, Microsoft Authenticator app, there is a plus option there, and in that plus option it will give you a list of options where you can click on work or school account, and then it will ask you to scan a code, right? So I have a scanner which is open in front of me. I have opened my app in my mobile phone, and I've selected the scanner. And once I selected the scanner, the account will automatically add to my Microsoft Authenticator app in my phone. Now this system try to validate whether the scanner that I use is currently mapped with my phone or not. So I will open my app and type the authentication code that is showing in front of my screen, so Microsoft can revalidate. And once I type the code and click OK, then this Microsoft authentication process will successfully complete. So you can see I have successfully approved the notifications and my authentication is done. Now you just click on done, and it will allow you to log in. So currently this user is enabled, right, for two level of authentication. You have to type your password every time that you're going to log in. This is the first time I'll log in, and then once you type the password, it will ask you for Microsoft Authentication app for second level of authentication. So let me sign out with this user, right? And let me see if this feature is working for me properly or not. So I just sign out completely. Let me even close this browser. Let me go back, open the private window, type myapps.microsoft.com, and this time this account is already registered with MFA, so it will won't ask me again for multi-factor authentication because it's already enabled. So I am going to provide my password, and then it will ask me for MFA. So it's pop up the authentication code. I will open my app, and then I supply this second level of authentication, and once I do it, it will allow me to log in, right? So now we are full into Microsoft Authentication for this particular user. Now I want to go with the next level, which is called passwordless authentication. To enable a passwordless authentication, you need to first enable this Microsoft passwordless authentication feature in your Authenticator app. So I have mapped my app to my phone, and that phone is currently connected to the system. Here you can see this account, right? If you can see this account, and if I click on the account, you can, there is an option called enable phone sign in. If I click on that enable phone sign in, it will ask me you want to register this device. Click continue, and now it will ask me for my password, which I will supply. So, and I will go with the authentication code, and my request is approved. And you click on register. This time I'm enabling my device to authenticate me without any password. Let's see. My device registration is successfully done. If you can see here, device registration is done. Okay, let me minimize it. Let me close this one. Let me browse with a new window. Type for myapps.microsoft.com and supply my user ID. And this time, okay, we have to wait for a few minutes because it's still not activated. Just wait for 2 minutes, and I'll come back and revalidate it. Let me close this one more time and wait for few minutes. Now guys, I'm back. So let's go back to the user after 2 minutes. So let me open a new window. Let me try to log into my apps.microsoft.com. Let me supply the user information. Now you can see here on this screen you have two options. You can supply your password or you can use an app. If you click on this option, it won't ask you for a password, but it will go for a Microsoft Authenticator, right? And it will ask you for the security code. Now I haven't supplied my password to this account, and it allow me to authenticate. So this is a passwordless authentication method, because if you click to your device, you see your multi-factor authentication app is enabled, passwordless sign-in is enabled, right? So if you want to disable it, you can disable it and it will start asking you for the password. But now you can log in without any password with the help of Microsoft Authenticator app. Why the other option is given to me? Because let's suppose if your phone is not on, it's in off condition, right? And if I'm try to log in here, right? Let me log in again. If your phone is off, right? And if you try to log in and you have only passwordless authentication enabled, right? In that case, how the user will be logged in, right? So if you select this option, then you can, now this time it's directly pop up you and it's allow you to log in with MFA because you have selected passwordless authentication. But let's suppose, right, you want to log in with password. When you click here, right, let me log into my apps and this is my user. And now you have this option. If the, let's suppose your phone is not working, you click on this option and you can still able to type your password and log in it. But again, your account has an MFA. So without the multi-factor authentication, it will not allow you to log in. But you still have that option, right? So this was the feature of multi-factor authentication. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe my channel.